John Kavakis here for My Take, and today I want to talk to you about BoS models, Best of Show. They've been making some noise recently, and I think it's good noise, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that. They've sent a 1961 Lincoln Continental. Continental was a storied nameplate for Lincoln, in production for a total of 55 years, spread out over 9 decades. The original Lincoln Continental is credited by some as starting the personal luxury segment that was defined by high style, high comfort, high content, personal car to be driven by the owner in plush luxury. So we can talk about that sometime. Some people think the Thunderbird was the first, some people think the Mark II, some people think the Riviera in '63, that sort of thing, but that's up for you to decide. So Lincoln lost money in 1958, 59, and 60. They had some of the biggest cars ever made in the United States, and they were struggling. They were on the ropes. There was talk of closing the whole division. But in 1961, they had a model sitting in the wings designed by Elwood Engel. Elwood Engel had designed a new Thunderbird, and Ford liked the idea, but they ultimately decided to take Engel's design and add an additional 2 doors to it and make it into the Lincoln Continental. If you take a look at the front cowl, you can see that the front cowl of the 61 Lincoln Continental and the 61 Thunderbird are identical. The Thunderbird design became the Lincoln, and it actually became quite a success. It was lighter, it was cleaner design. Some people think it was more elegant. I happen to believe it set the tone and the style for the entire decade of the 60s. It was shorter than the 1960 model by 15 inch. Wheelbase was 8 inches shorter. It came with a domestic first. Lincoln had some quality control problems. They decided to clean that up. So in 1961, they offered the first domestic 2-year, 24,000 mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. And they backed that up with some of the most stringent quality control measures in the industry. And it paid off. Sales were fantastic. They won a number of engineering awards. They won a number of quality awards. And we have a model of that 1961 Continental here from BoS Models. Now, BoS has made the big splash in the area of price. So we've had a couple of makers recently, Greenlight, White Box, BoS. BoS comes out of that conglomerate of model car world in Germany that has so many different makes, and they've given us a beautiful looking model. Now the question is, how do they do this? How do they bring this model to market for somewhere in the neighborhood of $30? Some of these are a little bit less. The Greenlights sometimes go for $20, $25, that sort of thing. How do they give us such a good looking model for that price range? Well, let's put it on the turntable and we'll take a look and we'll see. The first thing I want to point out is the finish, which is, it's as good as anything I've seen on the higher price models. The badging kind of jumps out at me because it's so well done, unexpectedly well done. They even have the stand-up hood ornament, very well picked out, beautifully done. Now, the trim, the bumpers, the trim along the belt line of the car, it's hard saying, but I believe these are painted. If they're painted, they're very well done. They look almost like chrome, but I don't believe they are. The grille is well replicated, but it's in dire need of black wash, something that I would not expect in this price range. The grille's well done, but there's almost no dimensionality there. Lensing, very nice. Headlights, taillights, very well done. Rear grille, very well done as well. Could use some depth there too. They've got a lot of the details, like the running lights in the bottom of the rear bumper, and that are great. The photo etch around the windows looks painted to me. It's flat. Not overly done, so it doesn't look awkward, but it doesn't look like chrome. The same thing goes for the windshield surround around the windshield and around the rear window as well. It does have separate door handles on the outside. They've even picked out the lock underneath the door handle on the driver and the passenger side. The mirrors are well done. Badging on the sail panel on the C-pillar of the car is very delicate, very well done. We take a look at the interior, and The interior, you know what, they've done a great job of replicating the seats, but there's not a lot to talk about in the interior. You know, everything seems to be molded in. The dash is very difficult to see any details on it. If you flash a light in there, it's okay. The instruments are not picked out. The steering wheel is relatively generic. They at least have the shape of the dashboard well done and replicated, but there's just not a lot of detail in the interior. Wheels and tires look good. They're the right size. They've got the right size white walls. The wheel covers are well done, but again, you know, it's the same typical problem that I see with the 143rd resin offerings is the wheel covers could use a little bit of black wash or a little bit of depth. The trim around the rear wells and along the rocker panels is well done, but it seems to be painted as well. So let's go to the 5-star rating and see what we end up with on the car. You know, I like it, but let's grade it out according to the criteria we've done all of our other stars in it. So for fidelity, I'm going to give this a 3, and the main reason I'm going to give it a 3, it looks like a Lincoln Continental, but it also looks small. If I put a caliper to this, I find out that it's over an inch too small, and that will show up when you sit it next to the other model, 143rd models you have on your shelf. So it measures out to 4.83 inches. It should work out to 4.94, 208.25 inches compared to the actual length of the 1.1, which was 212.40. And so for fidelity, I'm giving this a 3. Trim, lensing, and badging, I'm going with a 3. I think it's phenomenal what they've done with the badging, but the trim and everything, it lacks the luster, it lacks the pop that we've come to expect on our chrome. The interior detail, I'm going with a 2.5. It's not bad, but it's not good either. Wheels and tires, I'm going with a 3 on this one. And so that brings us down to value, and this is what this model is all about, the value. And this is a 5+. I paid $30 for this model. I think I paid $7 to have it shipped. There are very few nice renditions of the 1961 Continental out there, and this is a nice looking model. So it's hard to complain about the other parts when we realize what the buy-in is on this. So they've done a phenomenal job of giving us an incredible value. That takes us to overall rating of 21.5 points out of 30 and a 5-star rating of 3.5. So BoS models 1961 Continental rates out to a 5-star rating of 3.5. Hey, thanks for spending time with me. I've got a lot more stuff coming. I look forward to seeing you again sometime soon.